Well, thank you for enduring and for volunteering if you were volunteering. We'll give a big shout out to our ref crew. The overall refs, we got Millennium Falcon, Knit 1, Hurl 2, Little Miss Can't Be Wrong, Nils Not on Nothing, Blaze of Glory, Andrew, Average Joe, Bella DeBrawl, Judley Do-Right, Colleen, and Walker, who have been working, most of them, all day long. So huge thanks to them for that. And our non-skating officials, headed by outgoing league head NSO Dread Pirate Robert. We have enjoyed the work of Pete Seraphin, Donna Larson, Stephanie Matsudaira, Jillian Jorgensen, David Lassart, Koichi Hurl Jam, Lisa Stenkel, Geek 3K, Kelsey Brown, Charmaine Rodriguez, Frank Pasenke, Tanya Powers, Steve Lorenz, Michael Wells, Chicklets Rock, Jonah Loeb, Amanda Roth, Gail Goldman, Amama Later, Pete Pearson, Bernadette Allen, Shayla Kurlot, and Sasha. But now, we're ready to meet Team White. As soon as Team White is ready to get on the track. And their opponents, perhaps not surprisingly in purple, is Team Purple. What?
Yeah, totally would have been egg on my face if you had been in, like, just went purr, 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 purr. Yeah. No one would have known what was happening. They still don't know what's happening.
I barely know what's happening. I do know that we have 4 skaters on the track. Make that 5.
I'll see your 5 and raise you 5 more. All right, Sweet and Scowl coming out for Team Purple. Team White sending out the Iron Rabbit. And we're off.
Like a shot. And knocked outside. Sweet and Scowl and lead jammer, the Iron Rabbit. Iron Rabbit looking on the outside edge. Cuts up the middle of the pack, clear with 4 points. Sweet and Scowl pulls off the helmet cover, passes it over the top. Star pass complete to Ash Kicker. And 4 more points for Team White. So an 8-0 run. Surprisingly, after Jam 1, leads to an 8-0 score.
Wow.
I know.
Mind blown.
Math is crazy like that.
All right, we've got Crash Distraction in for Purple, Chaos in for White. Chaos gets out ahead of the pack, gets tripped up, so she gets swallowed back in, but she's still lead jammer. Crash Distraction now out, looking to make contact with that pack on a scoring pass. Hops over on the inside to pick up 4 points. Chaos also going to the inside, now gets knocked to the inside, goes outside, picks up 4 points of her own.
Outrunning Hella Fitzgerald, who took a nice shove from her teammates, but not able to make contact. And Crash Distraction to the penalty box.
And then Purple's going to call off that, or rather White's going to call off that jam.
So a 4-4 jam, 12-4.
However, a power start for Team White.
Yes. And that is number 99, Little Ms. Hyde. Jamming for Team White. Getting as much of a run-up as possible.
That's literally as much as possible. You've got everybody up on the pivot line. She's all the way back as far as she can go.
And Purple running the pack ahead.
Trying to burn up that clock there.
Lollipopper out of the penalty box and back in play, and lead jammer finally after a full lap to Little Ms. Hyde.
However, Team Purple now down 2 blockers. So it is a 4-on-2 advantage for Team White. So Little Ms. Hyde makes her way through. Crash Distraction tries to go for the hop skip. Doesn't stick it. And looks like we've got a star pass going on here.
And 5 more points up for Little Ms. Hyde as Lollipopper emerges the pack and puts on the star.
And they're going to call off that jam. 10-4 on that one for Team White, putting us at 22-8. Strange Bird in for Team White. I believe that's
Ash Kicker.
that is Ash Kicker.
What do you know?
It's hard when you can't see the last couple numbers on the other side.
Like, I don't see a 56, so it must be. But Ash Kicker, lead jammer, first lead jammer of the game for Team Purple. And there's 5 points for Ash Kicker. A strange bird trapped in the back of the pack.
Strange Bird finds an opening with a little pirouette on the inside, so she is out and on her scoring pass. Team White backing Ash Kicker all the way up as far as they can go, but she just says, I'll just call off the jam instead. I don't want to walk that far.
Even when I'm rolling. That takes purple to 13, white still 22.
Next up, we've got Like a Live Wire for Team White. She'll be up against Sweet and Scowl for Team Purple.
And Leica sneaking around to the other side. It's a very subtle move, like, no, pay no attention to me.
Like a Live Wire up at the front of the pack, trying to fight off those 4 defenders up there. Meanwhile, Sweet and Scowl having trouble in the back of the pack as well. Now they're swapping around. Like a Live Wire almost out, gets caught up by Hella Fitzgerald. But not enough as Like a Live Wire gets out, becomes lead jammer. Up like a lickety split.
Sweet and Scowl out of the pack. Like a Live Wire calls off the jam, grabs 3 points. Takes Team White to 25, purple at 16.
Still anyone's game here, not just because the score is close, but also because we've only played about 7.5 minutes.
That makes a lot of difference.
It does. Crash Distraction up against Iron Rabbit now. Crash Distraction looking on the inside, Iron Rabbit on the outside. Iron Rabbit says, I like that inside better. Neither of them having much luck there, but a quick star pass over to Lollipopper now for Team Purple. Iron Rabbit got out first, though, so she's going to call off that jam. No score on that one.
Second instance of the 0-5 to 5 star pass. It's as if they thought no one would notice because their numbers are so similar. Requiem now jamming for Team White. 333, Alexis of Evil jamming for Team Purple. And Alexis of Evil around the outside, lead jammer Team Purple. Requiem bumped out by Slayla, but back in and through, completing the initial pass.
Gabs and Like a Live Wire working hard to contain Alexis of Evil. And Alexis of Evil now into the penalty box.
Yes, called on the cut track. So that containment working perfectly. Power jam Team White. And 5 points for Requiem. Madison throwing some offensive blocking in front of Requiem, but not quite able to break her free. No back call. Requiem through. 5 more. Takes Team White to 35.
And Alexis of Evil now back in, picks up 4 points on her first move through the pack after getting out of the box.
Alexis of Evil back engaged. Requiem caught up behind the purple defense. Forced out by Anita Getcha. Slight run back. Alexis of Evil finally out the front past Strange Bird.
And a star pass this time as well for Team White. Team White passing it over to Gabs. They were not able to get around that defense anchored up by Slayla.
Gabs and Alexis of Evil up, exiting the pack simultaneously as the whistles go for each. So a 16 to 12 run for Team White. And we sit 41 to 28 with just over 20 minutes to go in the first period.
Iron Rabbit in up against Crash Distraction.
We have seen this pair before, just moments ago.
Iron Rabbit forced to recycle as the pack starts to stretch out. Little hop on the inside for Crash Distraction. She makes it out and is a lead jammer for Team Purple.
Iron Rabbit also following the inside line, stays ahead of Crash Distraction as she pops out, calls off the jam. 4 points for Team Purple, taking them to 31 in a 10-point game. Make that 11. All right. Yes, 11. There we go.
Go-Go in up against Chargemander.
Chargemander up the outside, through quickly. Lead jammer as Bella DeBrawl tries to find the whistle.
Chargemander looking to the outside. Stopped up a little bit there, puts on the gas and goes into the inside. She picks up her points, calls off the jam.
So 4-0 for the white team, 46-32. It's another reminder, the trading cards are in and available for you to pick up at the merchandise booth. If you haven't already, head over there. And while you're there, it's just a short walk to the back area where you can check out some of our other vendors.
Rainbow Crash in up against Sweet and Scowl. Sweet and Scowl makes her way through first to become lead jammer. Rainbow Crash going to the inside, gets knocked down, has to recycle. Sweet and Scowl re-engages on hers. Oh no, she's going to the penalty box. Rainbow Crash into the box. Power Jam, Team Purple. Big opportunity to make up some points here.
Absolutely. And there's 5 of them right there. Team Purple moving into the active offense, trying to open up a lane but closing itself down.
Team White making a traffic jam out there.
And Sweet and Scowl calls off the jam just before the release back into the wild of Rainbow Crash. So a brief power start for Ash Kicker and Team Purple.
Pack looking like they're going to try for a running start here. Ash Kicker going right up the middle, goes to the inside and makes it through for lead jammer.
Very quick maneuver as a Rainbow Crash out of the penalty box almost simultaneously with the start of that jam. Rainbow Crash now clear as Ash Kicker working on the scoring pass. Reabsorbed by the white pack, and finally out the front.
Rainbow Crash right up the inside. Picks up her 4 points. The jam is called off. It's going to be a 4-4 jam there. 50-46, so a 4-point game now. As we send in Slayla from Team Purple. And Little Ms. Hyde in from White.
Pack again lined up at the front at the pivot line. Slayla checking, see where Little Ms. Hyde is going. And apparently that answer is sort of to the outside. And then through the middle and across the end. And clear as lead jammer. I need to get you heading to the penalty box. Joined by number 48, the track warrior. So one blocker from each team. Make that two blockers from Team Purple after the star pass.
Star pass over to Avril Lamine. 2-on-2 in the pack out there. A little mini pack going on. As Chargemander uses Strange Bird as a weapon.
You know, shoving people into other people, always a good time. So both jammers through with 4. White now sitting at 13, Team Purple at 4. As Little Miss Hyde rolling in on a 4th scoring pass.
Both teams back up to full strength in the pack. Avril Lamine goes up the inside, finds her way through for 4 points. Slayla trying to hold on to Little Miss Hyde, can't do it. Little Miss Hyde calls off the jam, 17-8 for Team White there, opening that lead up a little bit more.
14 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the first half, 67-54. Team White in the lead. Crash distraction with the star for Team Purple. Mad as Sin for Team White. Crash distraction forced out of bounds. Has to roll back behind Requiem. Finds room on the inside and clear lead jammer. Madison hopping over the outstretched leg of Hella Fitzgerald. Also clear. As Crash distraction grabs the points, calls off the jam.
Four points up for Team Purple, putting this to a 9-point game.
And Gabs now wearing the star for Team White. Sweet and Scowl jamming for Team Purple.
Gabs goes up the inside, locked down by Alexis of Evil for a moment, but not too long, and she is out and now lead jammer. Sweet and Scowl knocked down on the outside.
Yes.
Gabs finding that wide open door on the inside there. Picks up 5 points. And we have a star pass now. Sweet and Scowl passing it off over to Ash Kicker. But Gabs is going to call off the jam after picking up those 5 points. Opening it up a little bit more to 72-58.
Iron Rabbit set to jam against Go-Go, but first the jammer line. Finger touch. Not sure what that was, but all right. It was friendly and it amused them, so that's all that matters.
Well, they had a hug earlier. I don't know what you want, Scott.
I want a nice hip check that I sends the Iron Rabbit to the ground and apparently sends Go-Go to the penalty box with the low block. So power jam for Team White and the Iron Rabbit.
Iron Rabbit makes her way through for 5 points. It's Team White going into a passive defense now.
And Iron Rabbit smoothly across the middle.
Finding those gaps and exploiting them. No gaps to exploit this time.
No.
And fresh out of the box, Iron Rabbit makes it through. Go-Go also made it through, but doesn't get any points for that initial pass. 15 points up for Team White.
That takes Team White to 87. Team Purple 58, 10 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the first half. Chaos set to jam against Lollipopper.
Both teams at full strength right now on the pivot line. Lollipopper looking to the outside. It's a no pass, no penalty.
And it's, I think one ref saw it one way, the other saw it the other way, and that leads to Lollipopper in the penalty box.
So Power Jam, Chaos, and Team White right now. Ella Fitzgerald trying to anchor down that line.
Chaos looking towards the outside. Ella Fitzgerald to be able to close it off and allow the Team Purple to roll forward. And Lollipopper catches everyone looking, cutting through the middle and exiting the pack on the initial pass. Lollipopper hops the corner, grabs the 5 points, and Chaos calls off the jam after finally getting out and grabbing lead.
5 more points up for Team Purple. Just about 9 minutes left in the half now. Strange Bird coming out for Team White up against Ash Kicker for Team Purple. Squads lining up on the pivot line, giving them a little bit of a run up. Ash Kicker with an open door on the outside. She says, I'll take that door, and goes through it for lead jammer.
Always adventurous, that Ash Kicker. Sees an open door, takes it. In this case, hops over the middle and drags the toe, does not continue immediately out of bounds, cuts the track. Howard Jam, Strange Bird, and the Team White, Strange Bird, passes it off to Gabs.
Gabs going low and fast. Makes her way through the pack. Picking up her 5 points.
Gabs now in, second scoring pass, no pack called. Team White has to run to catch up, but Gabs is through for another 5. And 5 more points as Gabs slides through. Ash Kicker bumped to the inside, rolls back out of bounds, and cuts back behind the track, so no penalty there. 5 more up for Gabs. Gabs through for 4. Ash Kicker through for 4 as well as we tick down the time on the jam. And Ash Kicker right at the end cuts the track again, and Team White calling for the timeout. A 28-point jam, 28-8. Team White 115, Purple 71. Chargemander with the star for Team White on the power start. The white blockers dutifully lining up on the outside. Team Purple rolling slowly forward. Chargemander now trying to get through, and forearm penalty called. Chargemander heading to the penalty box.
Ash kicker now in. Trying the outside, looking to the inside. Now trying for a star pass and gets it. So Avril Lavigne now taking off with the star.
And that takes lead jammer off the table. So we will have a 2-minute jam, which is now only 1 minute and 5 seconds, but still.
Avril Lavigne hanging on by a foot. Gets around on the inside, picks up her 5 points.
Foot's all you need, really. If it has wheels on it. And it stays in bounds.
Exactly. I mean, there's qualifiers.
Of course. No unqualified feet here. Chargemander out of the penalty box. Bumped out of bounds. Avril Lavigne bumped to the inside and rolled back. And dances around mad as sin to grab 5 more points.
And shoves neighbor of the beast and Ash kicker out of the way.
Chargemander.
Takes a bit of a tumble.
Yes. Trying to decide, am I in bounds? Was I out of bounds? Better be safe. I think I went out of bounds. The charge now rolling back behind the pack.
And that's going to end the jam. Unfortunate. Chargemander only needed one more round through to evolve into Chargezard. But
perhaps on another jam. Chargemander did pick up 2 points, however, a 14-2 run for Team Purple. Takes Purple to 85, White in the lead with 117.
As Like a Live Wire will now face off against Go-Go.
Team White has Gab's points, in case you're scoring based on player numbers. And Go-Go is out, lead jammer, Team Purple.
Like a Live Wire going to the outside, moving to the center and the inside, and she is free as a bird after a last-minute hit.
Yeah, Hella Fitzgerald almost got enough, but not quite. Jam called off. 0-0 on the pass, so 5-0 run for Team Purple.
Going to be just about 3 minutes remaining once this next jam starts up. Iron Rabbit in up against Crash Distraction. Both of them competing to see who's going to back up the furthest, apparently.
And then jockeying for position at the same time. Crash Distraction using the go left, go right method. Iron Rabbit kind of just going right up the middle. And Iron Rabbit, big hip check from Slayla. And Slayla called for the blocking out of bounds penalty. And the Iron Rabbit finally through and lead jammer.
Crash Distraction forced to the inside and now recycling through. Iron Rabbit finds that inside door open, makes her way through. Crash Distraction now right behind her. Little jammer on jammer violence there. And that'll call off the jam. So 5 points up for White, putting us at 122 to 190. Just under 2 minutes left in this half.
And Lollipopper set to jam against Strange Bird.
Lollipopper apparently knowing crane style. I'm not really sure.
Interesting.
Yes. Strange Bird might just sweep the leg. You never know.
That's usually my go-to move. Followed by the abdominal stretch that was mentioned earlier.
Absolutely. The abdominal stretch is powerful maneuver.
Lead jammer Strange Bird. Lollipopper giving chase, and Strange Bird calls off the jam. A 0-0 run, 122-90, and we're down to the last minute of the half. Once again, coming up at halftime, pick up those trading cards over at the merchandise booth and visit our other vendors.
I understand some of the announcer trading cards are running low, but there's still a lot of Scott chickens, so.
And by a lot, we mean 0.
Go-Go up against Requiem. Both of them going to the inside. Requiem abandoning that effort, where Go-Go says, I will stick with it, and she sticks with it all the way to lead jammer.
Requiem bounces off a blocker and out the front. As Go-Go again finds room on the outside, grabs the points and calls off the jam. And Team Purple calls a timeout, so we get one more jam in this period. I'd like to give a shout out again to our children's medics. They've been working hard all day, by which I mean mostly not working, which is the way we like it.
So hardly working.
Yes, not working hard, but hardly working. I know. It's like I'm a dad or something.
Speaking of hardly working, the refs out there confabulating.
I'm guessing they're comparing where the best ice bath is for their sore, aching legs after all the skating they've done today. Crash distraction with the star for Team Purple. Iron Rabbit back out for Team White. Neighbor of the Beast sprinting back to get in play.
Crash distraction and Iron Rabbit going for the let's back up more contest again.
It worked well last time. Why not try it again?
Crash distraction going to try for it, but was turned the wrong way, unfortunately. Didn't hold up either of them too much. Iron Rabbit, your lead jammer, but they are neck and neck.
And Iron Rabbit calls off the jam before anyone can get back to the pack. And that takes us to halftime. All right, everyone got an extra lap. 122-94 at the half. We will take a 10-minute break. I believe the School of Rock is still out playing in the lobby. We also have some vendors out there. We have vendors in this corner by the Good Call ref sign, in the back corner by the exit door and the roll-up. We got some cool, what do we got? Makeup over here by the window. We've got merch in the back corner with the trading cards, Galaxy Girls snack table. So many places you can visit in the next 9 minutes, 26 seconds.